Okay, hello guys, it's your boy, Slash Bread May. I'm just making a quick video, just a rant, but I just gotta say it. The UFC is making me racist towards Mexicans. Because honestly, man, the pandering they do towards these Mexican fighters is absolutely insane. Because obviously they're gonna have a Mexican independence card, but if you're the UFC, why are you thinking, okay, let's use the independence, um, let's use the Mexican independence card, but put it in the Sphere, which is probably going to be one of the most prestigious and coolest stadiums the UFC will ever put an event in. And say UFC ever had a year to think about uh, creating this card and putting the Sphere and using the Sphere for UFC Noche. Um, Even a year ago, why were the UFC thinking, okay, let's make this card full of Mexicans? But there's barely any good Mexicans in the UFC. Literally. Barely any. Overall, Mexico as a nation are terrible in the UFC because they have a lot of fighters, but they pretty much bang average. And there's only pretty much a few good ones. Um, like, for example, Alexa Grasso, she's a champion. Um, Brown, Brown Tagan has Mexican heritage. Raul Rosas, Yair Rodriguez, who else? Alexander Hernandez, which he wasn't a fan of this card, but for some reason the UFC are so stupid, literally low IQ literally they have very low IQ, and they move literally the best Mexican fighter in the whole UFC um, to an Apex event. Apex. But they literally do UFC Veranda Mona, whoever the ugly. That's pretty rude. Whoever the weird looking woman who fought 2 weeks ago, they put her in front of a stadium, but they put Alexander Hernandez in an Apex event where we could have just had another Apex event where it's like we literally have a weekend break from UFC. You know, like those events in the UFC where it's just okay, I'm not watching this. We can have a break this week. They could have done that, but no, they moved literally one of the best Mexican fighters in the UFC to the Apex card, where this card is literally struggling. This card is literally on its knees and is on stage 4 cancer at the moment. This card is absolutely horrible. It's a disgrace of a card. I'm tired of this pandering towards Mexican fighters in the UFC and this favoritism they get. They literally get the coolest. Okay, we get like theme. We really do get like nation themed cards. Sometimes in Asia we get an Asian themed card. In the UK now, tonight we're gonna get a England themed card, a UK themed card. This is a Mexican themed card in one of the coolest stadiums in UFC history. Except Mexico as a nation suck in the UFC. As in MMA, Mexico suck. They're literally getting spoiled, so bloody spoiled, and so annoying. The pandering they do towards Mexico. We could have had so many good uh prospect like fighters who put on brawls and have names, and we know are good but aren't Mexican on this card. That would have been a great UFC pay per view. But now there's probably like a 50% chance that this card's boring, unless for some reason there's some magic in the air which makes these unknown fighters have some brutal wars. But the last UFC Mexico card, which had a lot of these fighters on it, literally sucked. So yeah, just look at these names, bro. Look at these names. No ranking next to them. No ranking. No ranking. I'm not casual, but if you put pictures of these guys, I'm not casual at all. But like, if say if these pictures weren't on the UFC website, like these guys, I would think, and you didn't put them in fight costumes, I wouldn't know they're UFC fighters. I know him, obviously. Uh, I've seen this guy fight, but like I've seen these guys fight a few times, but literally, if you put these guys in normal clothes and just gave me pictures of them, I wouldn't know the UFC fighters are. And that is not something which, even though I'm not casual, that is not something where which is, sounds like a it sounds good for a UFC 306 main event in the Sphere. Out of all stadiums, the Sphere. This card is absolutely disgrace. If we just got Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker, I would be happy with it. Even though I know the rest of this card is very terrible. But like even if we got Sean Strickland and versus Robert Whittaker on this, everyone would still say, "My word, the prelims are absolutely terrible." Because they are. This card is just not worth it, to be honest, to getting hyped up for. Oh, Raul Rosas is a good Mexican prospect, to be fair. Um, but yeah, this card's absolutely terrible. Terrible. And the UFC is making me racist. It's not that I'm a bad person. It's the UFC is making me racist towards Mexicans because it's the pandering they do towards them. And like how much they hype up Mexico, but their fighters are absolute trash overall. I do think if time goes on, we're gonna get good Mexican fighters. But currently, the state of Mexico and the UFC, Mexican fighters in the UFC, they are trash. Like Georgia are a better nation in UFC than Mexico because well, actually Georgia are a great nation because if you average their fighters and how their accomplishments, but yeah, but like say every fighter was worth a currency and you was worth a certain amount of dollars, and you add Georgia, we have like 3 or 4 fighters in every Mexican fighter. Georgia would be worth more than Mexico, and also Mexico, they have so many fighters, but like 95% of them are trash. So yeah, well that's the end of our video. I just wanted to get a quick rant out there. It's just this just ruined my day to be honest. So I need to like release the anger out, and yeah, cheers.